Hello and welcome back to Talking Europe. The holiday season is upon us, and that looks like a good time to examine the strange relationship that many of us have with tourism. We often say that a particular city or coastline has been ruined by tourists, but we've probably enjoyed those same places ourselves at some point, despite the scowls and grumblings of local residents. After all, there's a reason why people flock to Florence and not to a dusty desert. So, should we be limiting something that we've benefited from? And if so, how? I'm joined by MEPs from some of the most touristy countries in the EU. Zeljana Zovko is a Croatian MEP from the European People's Party. She was also Croatia's permanent representative in the World Tourism Organization and the permanent representative to the UN's Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. Welcome to you. I'm also very pleased to welcome José Ramón Bauza Díaz, Spanish MEP who's in the Committee on Transport and Tourism and former president of the Balearics region in Spain. Welcome to you as well.
Thank you so much.
So, Zeljana Zovko, let's start with you. You've just been to Dubrovnik and Split, which are some of the most known hotspots in Croatia. What was your impression? Was it just overwhelmed by tourists?
I live in Split, and I was in Dubrovnik for Dubrovnik Forum that we have just organized, Croatian government, and we are happy to see many tourists in Dubrovnik. Luckily, I think that this season we will complete the figures that we had at the best time, but also at this point we are trying to manage this overwhelming number of tourists, and as well we are talking on the new strategy how to deal with masses of tourists that are coming, and we are also a victim of our popularity, but luckily still Croatia is managing that very well. And we are trying to get somewhere in order to have and to balance the life of local people and to please all the tourists that are coming.
We'll come back to the victims of popularity, but just what's the situation like in, obviously you know the Balearics so well, do you get the sense that it's just too much, or there's too much of a negative impact that that sort of cancels out any benefits, or how do you see it?
No, for the Balearics, Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, and Formentera is absolutely neat, and we all live directly or indirectly for the tourism sector. In fact, all the companies, small and medium-sized companies, even the small shops, they are always looking forward, and as well, they are making a big effort in order to be with the best quality services and the best brands in order to welcome the thousands and million people who is visiting our islands, and as well the whole of Spain. So we are absolutely well prepared. The tourism sector is absolutely well prepared with the maximum standard of quality, and the way what we are doing.
Okay.
At the moment.
So what about some of the less rosy aspects, the rises in rents, for example, the inflation, all of these things which have been linked to over-tourism?
Well, you know, obviously we are in not the best economical situation, but we had to take into account that thanks to the tourism sector, we had go forward the last crisis situation that we have lived not only in Europe but as well in the different member states. Thanks to tourism, it has been the engine in order to get out of the crisis. So thanks to the tourism is almost represent for Spain almost 15% of the GDP, 50% of the GDP, and in Europe 10, 12 independent countries of the GDP. So thanks to tourism, we are getting that possibility. And obviously there is inflection, but I can tell you that I have been in different airports and tourism airports around Spain. They are all full of people from different countries, from different regions in the world. We are absolutely welcoming them to our country.
Just some thoughts on preserving cultural heritage, because I know that's something you've worked on a lot before, Zeljana Zovko. How do you do that when you've got these huge numbers of tourists?
But we have a strict laws. We have a strict law and conservators and Minister of Culture who are really following what is going on, and that the construction cannot be in the old part of the towns. We are also managing this high popularity, as I already said, because we are very well known for our beautiful cultural heritage, and many of the high-level tourists are coming to see that. But the management of the cultural heritage and the city centers is going very well. So I don't see the problem in that. The problem, what I already said, on high victim of the popularity, is unfortunately for the local people, because they cannot afford to buy anymore in the city center. Like, for example, I live in Split, in the city center, and for young people it's very difficult to buy the place. So Split has become like Monaco in a way, like Monte Carlo, that you, for younger generation, cannot afford to be there because everyone wants to come and live.
And there's no countermeasures. The authorities just say, well, that's the free market. You know, that's how it is.
That's the price of to be beautiful and to be also safe and secure, and everyone wants to come and live there. So this is something also. The problem as well that we are having is where are people who are going to work in the services where they will live, because the prices are so dire and so high.
Yeah. Just on some of your work here in the Parliament, José Ramón Bauza, you're promoting, or you'd like to promote something called the European tourism brand, to have a sort of cross-national sort of idea in a sense.
This was my proposal in order to create a European tourism brand. Why do I want to do that? Because first of all, we know that the competences that belong to the member state or even to the regions. I know that quite good. But even that, although that, we know that there are another markets that they don't understand that Europe is what it is. So we are here as a brand, but we can afford to bring people that they can go to Split, to Madrid, to Rome, to Paris, to Berlin, to many different places. And if we try to create this policy in tourism, because here at the European level we don't have any tourism policy. That is one of the main lacks.
Competence,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But we can work together in order that somebody from Asia, from Middle East, from USA, they can come to Europe thinking that they can link different destinations and the whole of Europe as a brand in itself. So it is better to think in a whole European body that to think is 20 different European bodies.
So, but what does the tourist get out of that? Some kind of reduced price for traveling to different locations within the same brand? Is that how it would be?
This is not the object, the target. The target is to think that coming to Europe is bigger than going just to one single destination as a member state. So I think we need to think bigger, and we can afford and give more possibilities and more options to smaller countries that they are not so involved in tourism. Because, for example, Croatia, Spain, France, Italy, Greece, we know a little bit about tourism, but there are another countries that they are not so involved just because they are in different sectors. So we can make a big brand and bring many people to know its different destination and how beautiful Europe is in itself.
I would go. This is a very interesting proposal, but I would go with some story that I heard in Dubrovnik recently, and in Split people are complaining that Booking.com and Airbnb are taking biggest part of the cake. So why not starting and organizing by the cities and by the region or by the state, creating their own platform for the whole package of the arrangement, like instead of giving it to somewhere else where you don't control neither the taxes nor who is renting it and where is this money going? Is it going to the local community? So European Commission must start thinking. We have to start thinking about these issues, how to create a platform in a city so that the whole profit goes and stays with the local population, and then they will have a stake in the final product, and we will also have the incentives like some other cities are giving to encourage local population and give them some sort of tax reduction to stay and to remain there.
What about that point on doing more to promote the interests of local residents at the same time as developing this brand that you talk about?
Yes, and it's a quite interesting thing that people have to know that, for example, at the European level, the European Parliament, we have a committee that is Tourism and Transport Committee, both together in order to know how to manage, because tourism, it's absolutely unbelievable to do tourism without any kind of connectivity. But at the Commission level, the European Commission, they have transport in one side, and tourism is one of the 14 sectors inside the Commerce Commission. So there are different ways of thinking. Here at the European Parliament, we think in a whole together. Tourism and transport. You cannot think about one or the other if they are not together. But the problem is that we have different kinds of policy, because at the Commission, they don't think in that way. So they think tourism is one thing, and transport is another one. So one of the important things is to work together. I think it's one where we have to do as an institutions an important work together.
I agree. They have to consult more with the local people, people who are living the tourism, people who are living the daily life, and also who are living in how to preserve the cultural heritage, how to preserve the way of life. Because when we are putting cities or monuments on World Cultural Heritage, one of the conditions is to preserve the way of life. So if we don't do that, we will just have museums and people will lose the interest in coming and seeing how they are living. Like starting from Portugal or Balearic or to Croatia, they would want to see our fishermen fishing in the morning and having the beautiful and coming back in the evening or early in the morning. This is the whole experience that you are coming and paying for. And otherwise we will all become like a chain store or Zara or whatever, and we will not have different experiences and different tastes and different memories.
I think that's a good place to end, and I'd like to wish all of our viewers and my guests happy holidays wherever you're going to be this summer, whether it's a hot spot or somewhere a bit off the beaten track. Thank you so much to Jose Ramon Bauza Diaz and Zeliana Zofko, and that's all for this episode of Talking Europe.